success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances, under this COVID-19 pandemic. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Riel and Kunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share more nuggets on how to rise to greater heights, So in New Zealand, we have Karen Tui Boys. And in Idaho, we have Lindsay Sutherland. In North Carolina, we have Crystal Askew Lawson. And once again, in North Carolina, we have Minister Claudia Elliott. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Karen.
So kia ora from New Zealand. We are the first country in the world to see the new day every day. So the sunshine rises first here. And I am obsessed with everything education, learning, the brain, health, everything about how to be successful and to be able to live the best life. So that's quickly a little bit about me.
Wow, it's such a great honor to have you, Karen. I believe it's early in the morning, 5 a.m., but you know what? You are here. So it's such a great honor to have you, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message today.
Thank you.
You can go ahead, Lindsay, and introduce yourself, please.
Wonderful. Good morning and good day to everybody. I'm Lindsay Sutherland. I am originally an Arizona native, born and raised, and decided to pack up and move to North Idaho to live in a log cabin in the woods. And I'm a firm believer that we can each live our someday dream today. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Oh, wow, we can live our Sunday dream today. So yeah, it's such a great honor to have you, Lindsay, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. You can go ahead, Crystal, and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, good day. I am Crystal Askew Lawson. I'm so excited to be here, and I love to laugh and dance and sing and garden and a whole bunch of other things that give life and bring joy. And so I have a passion for helping others find that and letting go of the things that are holding them back. So I'll share a little bit about that today.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's such a great honor to have you, Kristen, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message, and I'm ready to dance. Yes, I'm a terrible dancer, but yes, I am ready to dance. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. And you can go ahead, Claudia, and introduce yourself, please.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I am Minister Claudia Elliott here in North Carolina. I do a little bit of everything. I am the Executive Director of New Beginning Healthcare. It is a transitional housing program in several counties throughout the state of North Carolina where I house single homeless women, men, and children. So it keeps me busy. I'm also an author. I own a home care agency. Just like I said, a little bit of everything. And I'm just so excited to be here today. I'm going to speak on one of my chapters in Soul Cries, From Victim to Victory, and what I did to live a victorious life.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's such a great honor to have you, Claudia, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. So thank you for saying yes, and it's such a great honor to have you in this platform.
You're welcome.
So Karen, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in New Zealand. What will your billboard say?
I'm not sure our highways are that busy here, but can I have two things? I've got to have two things on my billboard. One is going to say, everything is hard before it is easy. And the second one is, the struggle makes you strong.
Everything is hard before it becomes easy, and the struggles makes you strong. It kind of connects really because you start from the difficulties to reach your success. And yes, you'll have to be whatsoever you're going through, it makes you stronger. I love it. I love it. I love your billboard. So how about you, Lindsay? What will your billboard say?
Okay. What you choose to accept is true for you.
What you choose to accept is true for you. So whatever you don't choose to accept is not true. Whatever you choose to accept is true. I love it. I love it. Wow. How about you, Crystal? What would your billboard say?
My billboard would say, like Karen, has got two things on it. First is you're stronger than you think and capable of so much more than you imagine. And then secondly, joyfully anticipate that great things are going to happen in you, to you, through you, and for you.
Wow. Wow, that was profound. That was profound. I love it. Joyfully anticipate that great things are going to happen to you, for you, through you, and wow, wow, that was profound. I love it. I love it. How about you, Minister Claudia? What will your billboard say?
Well, I am a woman of faith, so always faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Woo, I love it. That's my all-time favorite.
Yes.
All-time favorite. And by it, we with what? By faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are visible. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
I am a woman of faith too. So I believe my billboard will be the fifth billboard driving down the highway. And you know what it's gonna say? Rise to greater heights, because the sky is no longer your limit, but the sky is now our point of view. We're just up there viewing what we want in life, and it's definitely coming. So we're gonna get started with people. We're gonna get started. We have we're flying to New Zealand here. We have Karen Tui Boys. Karen Tui Boys is a champion for lifelong learning. She is a award-winning speaker, educator, and businesswoman. She is an expert in effective teaching, learning, study skills, motivation, as well as positive thinking. So Karen is the CEO of Spectrum Education, principal of Spectrum Spectrum Online Academy, and the author of 10 books. Not one, not two, not three, but 10 books. Wow, wow. So she loves empowering teachers, parents, students, and is the wife to one and a mother of 2 young adults. So Karen was recently named the GFU Evolutionary Woman of the Year 2022. Kings and queens, please join me and welcome Karen Tui Boys.
So thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I have a question for you to ponder for the listeners and the watchers. So I'd like you to imagine that you are walking down a beach, and it's a beautiful day and the waves are lapping up on the shore, and there is a lamp. You find this half-buried lamp in the sand, and you realize it's one of those lamps that you've maybe seen in the movies where there's a genie inside, and you know that if you rub it, that the genie will come out. So that's exactly what you do. You rub the lamp and this genie comes out, and as expected, the genie says that you have one wish, only one wish. However, you can choose anything. There is no limit to those wishes. Now, I wonder what you would choose. Now, I have asked this question to hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and actually in 41 different countries that I work in. And there is many different answers to this question, but the most common answer is that people would ask for 1 million wishes. It's quite smart, really. But personally, if I had a choice, if I had one wish and only one wish, My wish would be that I was a lifelong learner and that I could learn and keep learning. And this is important for me because I am a champion for lifelong learning. I have been blessed to know that for my entire life, my job on this planet was to teach. And I went, as you do when you know these things, I went to Teachers College to university and I became a teacher. But very quickly in my teaching career, I realized that something was missing. I saw children at 5 years old coming into the school system, and I saw that light in their eyes, that excitement, that zest for learning. And I started to see that die. And I thought, what are we doing that's killing the very thing that we're supposed to be promoting, the love of learning? So I left teaching 28 years ago, staggering, it feels like yesterday. But my mission has been to transform education globally. And I think most of us understand now that the education system around the world is broken. It's based on the factory manufacturing model of creating employees. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. However, the prediction at the beginning of the turn of this century was that by 2030, 2 billion jobs would be gone. 60% of the jobs that our students would be going into, we don't even know what they are. And the staggering statistic that really jolted me was that 40% of our 5-year-olds will need to be self-employed to have any form of income. Now, the fascinating thing, that was the prediction for 2030. Now, the fascinating thing is that the pandemic has actually shortened that time frame to now. And so to be self-employed, you need completely different skills. To rise to greatness in most of our lives, we need completely different skills than the skills that schools teach, because schools teach you to turn up on time, do as you're told, work to a certain standard, don't question, don't rock the boat, just do as you're told, and then clock out at the end of the day. But that's not the skills of someone who rises to their absolute greatness and potential, and the skills of someone who is able to be self-employed, because nobody knows if you turn up. Nobody knows if you are able to do the work. You have to prove that. You have to be able to do the work every single day, but not only do the work, you have to be able to get the work. You have to be able to invoice the work. You have to be able to know how to market. You have to have great communication skills. It's not about being good at one thing anymore. It's about being good at so many different skills. So this being self-employed and being able to be creative and a critical thinker is going to be so important. So for me, this learning to learn process is so important for our children and for us as adults, because we need to be able to take responsible risks. We need to be able to try things even if we're not sure. We need to be able to recreate. I think the word of the pandemic was pivot. I think we need to be able to pirouette and be able to, keep going around and around and keep changing what we're doing over and over again. We need to persist and to stick to something rather than giving up as soon as it gets challenging. Do you know, in education, there are a couple of lies that our children are taught. And the first one is that you have to be intelligent to get through the school system, that the smart kids do well. But actually, it's not. It's the children who know the techniques and the strategies. So it's got nothing to do with how clever you are, how smart you are. It's got, are you using the right techniques and strategies? And the second lie that happens in education is that our students are told that go to school, you'll have fun. But you see, learning isn't always fun. Learning is hard, learning is difficult. And our children start to get confused and say, well, if it's supposed to be fun, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And probably the biggest premise that is important is that our children need to learn how to fail. Failure is still such a negative word, but we want our children to learn how to fail and not be scared of failure. So one of the things that you can do to download a free resource to find out more about learning to learn is to, on your phone, there's an app called, and it's completely free. It is called, and I'm just going to pull it up for you, the iStudy Alarm, and I'll put it on the in the chat and soon. So the iStudy Alarm is has 27 study tips. It has 12 exam tips. It has break ideas. It has motivation ideas to help you in your learning, whether you are a student, a child, whether you're a parent, whether you are a corporate executive. These learning to learn strategies are so important. So download it. It is completely free. It says there's in-app purchases. There are not, and it's pure app. No adverts or anything. So the iStudy Alarm. So that's me.
Wow, good people, go out there and download the app. So Karen, how can the audience reach out to you if they want to reach out to you and work with you?
Yeah, so my website is spectrumeducation.com. So spectrumeducation.com, and everything is there.
Wow. So thank you so much, Karen, for sharing such a profound message. You've mentioned that learning is the new superpower. Yes, it is. And you don't have to be smart to be able to know everything. Like you mentioned that, no, you don't have to be smart. So go out there, good people, reach out to Karen and get that app. She said it's free. So go out there and get it for your children, for you as parents, right? As parents, you can just use that app, right?
Absolutely, everybody can.
Wow. Thank you so much, Karen, and thank you so much for sharing such a much needed message, more especially around learning, around education, because you've mentioned that you are the true champion of learning. So yes, you've just shared some nuggets on how actually individuals can just empower themselves through learning. So thank you, Karen. So now we are coming back to the US, where we have Lindsay Sutherland. Lindsay's passion for passive income was birthed from a desire to live her best life without waiting until retirement, since both of her parents passed away before making it to retirement. So she realized we have no guarantee of someday. Like all of us, she needed money to fund adventures and support her family, as well as time to enjoy the activities and meaningful moments. So passive income was the answer for her. Since 2004, she has been researching and experimenting with various income producing entrepreneurial ventures, from real estate investing to online business. She has learned from experts in many trades. But where she excelled was in helping small service-based business owners take back their time by developing passive products that infuse cash into their business. So her podcast, The Passive Income Examiner, is filled with business building ideas and motivational episodes to get you started. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Lindsay Sutherland.
Thank you. Such an honor to be here. I'm really grateful. And Karen, your message was amazing. I loved it. So my story started on the first day of school in 7th grade year. And despite the fact that I was getting older, there was a piece of me that still wanted my mom to drive me to school on that first day like she always had. But that year, because my little sister and I were going to different schools, Mom decided to drive her instead. And that meant that my consolation prize, was getting my mom to stand on the front porch of our ranch style home until I made it all the way to the end of the street. And as I walked to the end, I neared the corner where I was going to turn, and I waved at her one last time. Little did I know that only 2 hours later, she would pass away at the age of 32. I was only 12, and at that tender age, I had lost my mom. Only 10 years later, I was faced with burying my father, who worked until his dying breath, with a dream of living on a Montana ranch still in his heart. So losing both of my parents before they had a chance to retire birthed a silent internal force that evolved and erupted inside of me, and it just propelled me to live my best life without waiting for someday. Now, much like my dad's ranch dream, I felt compelled to live a rural lifestyle. I wanted a log cabin in the woods. I wanted to raise my babies in a rural little town where we could grow our own food and raise our own animals. And for me, working full time and spending more of my waking hours with coworkers instead of people that I loved the most, for the next 20 or 30 years to then just maybe someday get to retire. It was not my idea of a dream life. Now, this invisible force inside of me, because I had that so fervently, this burning passion, I was able to make my someday dream a reality sooner than many people do. And today, friends listening to this, I challenge you to consider the possibility that you can be living your dream life without having to wait until someday, without waiting for some windfall of money or some outside circumstance to change before you really get the chance to be happy. Each one of you has an untapped superpower, the ability to create things that you don't see as possible right now. Now, frankly, the only reason that your dream is stuck on what I call someday island is because you don't yet realize the possibility that it can be experienced sooner, and you haven't made it a priority. In 2004, I was standing in line to see a documentary called What the Bleep Do We Know? This movie opened the eyes of viewers of the world to the world of quantum physics, which is the study of particles smaller than atoms and how they function in what we now refer to as the quantum field. Scientists have proven that these miniature particles, also known as quarks, respond to human thoughts and expectations. Now, when I watched that documentary, I became convinced more than ever that whatever we perceive, we can achieve. It challenged my perception of reality and inspired me to ask myself, if anything is possible, what would I choose? All this to say that the relatively new science of quantum physics has done a great job of teaching us that our thoughts can influence the world around us. But what it hasn't done is really shown us how that function works. How does that phenomenon work? So interestingly enough, we're each living our lives right now using the science of quantum physics day in and day out to create the reality that we're living. But in most cases, we're completely unaware of even how we're doing that. So an even more poignant question here could be, how can we leverage quantum physics to create things and experiences in life that we can be excited about? So for the next 10 years after watching that documentary, I tried everything to master this idea that I could create things with my mind. And I'll tell you, I experienced a lot of ups and downs and frustrations, but I never failed to believe that it was possible. And there came a poignant moment when things actually shifted. This moment, my husband and I, all the parents listening to this can attest, we had this beautifully rare moment where we could have a conversation. I know how hard it is for parents sometimes when you have little kids. And while we were talking, I was expressing my frustration, like saying I desperately needed a change. I needed to get out of this full-time working environment. So once again, we pulled this dream that we've been talking about of living in a log cabin, living this rural lifestyle off of the proverbial shelf. And this process had become a Band-Aid that we used to just abate my frustrations between meltdowns. And frankly, I was getting tired of it. I looked at my husband and I asked, when are we going to stop talking about this and start living it? Well, 2 years later, we moved into our log home after 10 years of talking about it. But even then, I hadn't figured out exactly what I did. What was the secret sauce here? The good news was retrospect was my friend. So I was able to look back and look at what steps I took and then apply them to other areas of my life where I then recreated this experience of being able to basically create things using what I call the heart-brain connection. This is not something new. You can hear about it with Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks a lot about it. But to experience it within myself and to understand how to turn it on and turn it off on intentionally, right? So I could do this with purpose. That's the magic that shifted. But there were 3 specific steps I took, and I want to share those with you today because, my friends, it's my goal that you walk away from this talk being able to implement these in your life today. And I want you to really start by getting clear. This is the first step to creating anything you want. I call it the 3 C's of creation: clarity, commitment, consistency. Getting clear on what your vision is step 1. My husband and I, after years and years of talking about our dream, we were explicitly clear about what we wanted. And we even wrote down Lee and Lindsay's dream of living in a log cabin in the woods by 2018, December 2018. And by golly, we moved in a week before Christmas. So the clarity is such an important piece of this whole puzzle. See, commitment that day in the rocking chair, when we decided that no matter what, this was happening. And what's really interesting is leading up to that, I'd always been a person that when challenges came my way, I always was kind of a spiritual metaphor, esoteric person in a way. And I would say, I guess it's not meant to be. Well, when I decided that it wasn't meant to be is not part of my vocabulary. What is meant to be is what I'm committed to. Remember in the quote I said earlier, what you believe you can achieve, right? That is what you accept is true is what becomes true. And for us, what was true was moving to a log cabin in the woods. The 3rd C is consistency, taking consistent action towards your dream and believing in that possibility that it is coming to fruition. And this is where really, truly the rubber meets the road, right? Because it's not always easy to have that consistency, especially when challenges arise, especially when we have self-doubt. But there's 2 areas of consistency to practice. One is taking action. Even if you don't have the entire plan, it's okay. Just keep taking what you can do today and move towards your goal, towards your dream. And the second area of consistency is to weed our garden of our mind of any self-limiting and self-doubtful thoughts. Because, my friends, remember, in the quantum field, what we are thinking is literally moving particles, right? What we're thinking is adjusting the matter around us. So when we are thinking limiting and self-doubt thoughts, we're actually creating that which we do not want. This is why it is so important and so powerful to recognize and honor when we have self-doubt, but then twist it into leaning into what I say, leaning into the possibility. So listen, let me put it to you like this, and this is my closing thought. I know it's difficult at times when we're faced with self-doubt to want to just, it sounds like a lie when we just try to reverse that thinking. The best way to solve that problem, though, is to not believe necessarily in the full dream, because sometimes it just doesn't feel truth enough. So what we can believe, though, is in the possibility. And when we lean into that, when we recognize the wonder and the joy of creation that's around us at all times, and we simply choose to remember that anything is possible, and if anything is possible, my dream is possible too. Just accepting that possibility is enough to unlock the door of creation and allow your dream to come to you, and that next way will be revealed. So, my friends, you can connect with me on my website, thepassiveincomeexaminer.com, and I have a free gift for you. I've got a course that I've created that really teaches you how to put these 3 C's into power into your own life, and you all have access for free. I can put that in the chat. I've linked it as well, so it can go into the show notes as well. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, wow, Lindsay, you've mentioned the 3 steps that we can take in order for us to create anything in life. And you've also shared how this model is actually backed up by science. I like the way you've explained the 3 C's of creation, the clarity, commitment, and consistency. Wow, that was a profound message. And I believe that our audience, from your message, they've been really, really inspired, and they are ready to rise to greater heights. So thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing such a profound message. Thank you. So now we are flying to North Carolina, where we have Crystal Lawson. Crystal Lawson supports her clients on their journey to a healthy, simple, uncomplicated life. She is a certified health, nutrition, and life coach who is also a devoted wife, loving mother of two, and a grandma to one amazing grandson. She helps individuals bring simplicity, balance, and healthy energy to themselves and their families and their hectic lifestyles. So Crystal believes that we need to succeed, or she believes that what we need to succeed is in and around us. And her purpose is to help people to be happy, healthy, whole, and free to live the life they desire. So as a coach, she put the power of controlling your wellness back in your hands. So Mrs. Lawson believes that everyone needs to be whole, spiritually connected to a power greater than themselves, physically active and well to enjoy their lives, emotionally connected to in a healthy relationship, meaningful work that is fueled with passion, which is the sum of holistic health and a simple living. So Crystal A. Lawson is a life coach, NLP practitioner, and a motivational speaker. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Crystal A. Lawson.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you to Karen and Lindsay for what you've shared so far. Part of it, when I was listening, I'm like, wait, are they listening to me? Have we connected? So it's just wonderful how the world works when things just kind of come together. So to use Dr. Riel's analogy, kings and queens, I want you to think of something you want to do, a dream that you have, yet you feel stuck. You can visualize it in your mind, but you can't seem to take any steps to move toward it. Something is holding you back. So as a health and wellness coach, right, with a focus on health, nutrition, and wellness to move you forward, my focus is to help you live that life that you imagine. So what I've learned from my own experiences and from coaching others is that we can't get to where we want to go or become who we want to become because we're holding on to things, mindsets, beliefs, habits, even relationships that no longer serve our purpose in their current state. So how many of you know that closed fists cannot receive new gifts? Right? How many of you know that you can't grab hold to what's next while holding on to what's now or what's in the past? And you can't get to better until you get to different. And you can't get to different while holding on to what is the same. So for me, I had limiting beliefs around taking control of my health and wellness. For example, I believed what some people told me, which was that my body was going to just break down and fall apart when I turned 40. Lie. I believed that exercise and sweat were inconvenient evils that were to be avoided at all costs. Lie. I also believe that Chick-fil-A fries and lemonade and Krispy Kreme donuts were the only food groups that mattered. That was real. And I was committed to these beliefs until life showed up and presented me with the opportunity to consider another way of thinking, because all of those beliefs and the choices that I was making around those created results that I was not happy with. So I followed this process to help myself, and I use it with my coaching clients as well, to let go of those things that don't serve me and move forward. So I had to identify what was holding me back. Some of the things were fear, doubt, negative self-talk, procrastination. I'll do it later. I'll start on Monday. Monday never comes when you're trying to start something new. Remember that. And the opinions of others, just to name a few. I had to decide to let go. Like a trapeze artist cannot get to the next rung unless and until they let go of the one they are holding on to. I couldn't get to my different until I let go of those limiting beliefs. I had to be courageous enough to let go, and I had to believe that I deserved and was capable of creating the level of health that I desired. I also had to create a simple plan simple, like simple and complicated living. And I had to execute the plan because after all, a plan without action is just a wish and a dream, right? And then I had to commit to the plan. And I had to commit to showing up for myself. When you start something new, the first person that you have to commit to is yourself, because before anybody else shows up, you've got to show up for yourself. And then I employed accountability to the plan. Accountability or culpability is what ties the commitment to the result. So once I commit to the activities and consistency, as we heard from Lindsay, then the results show up. And then I celebrated small wins along the journey, because how many of you know when you are so in love with something like Chick-fil-A and Krispy Kreme, it's hard to let that go. It was hard. That was the struggle was real. However, by adopting a new mindset and following this process, I was able to create a healthy, abundant life with the thinking that I was holding on to before did not allow. Like the trapeze artist moving from rung to rung, I moved closer and closer to something new as I let go and grabbed hold to new ideas and thoughts and processes. So to recap that, those steps for letting go and moving forward. First, you got to clarify what you need to release. You got to choose to release those things. You got to courageously release those things. Then you create and execute a simple plan and commit to the process, even when you want to quit. You got to commit to the process. And you got to be employ culpability to the plan. You got to be accountable. And you have to celebrate each milestone along the way, because you've got to encourage yourself. That's where my dancing and laughing and having fun come in. So I trust this information has inspired you to let go of what's holding you back so you can move forward into what it is that you desire. So I'm going to change my name to a link to a short survey for you to complete. And if you complete it by 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. Eastern today, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a complimentary coaching session or a $50 Amazon gift card. And I'll contact the winner by noon tomorrow and also post it on my social media. So in that survey, you'll see a link to my link tree that gives you all the link and access to my social media pages. So I trust this has been helpful. I look forward to hearing from Claudia, and I thank Karen and Lindsay for what they've shared already. And you'll have a great day. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Coach Crystal, wow, what a profound message. You've mentioned that we should let go. We should be courageous and take action in order for us to live the lives that we've dreamed, that we've imagined. So we'll have to identify exactly what's holding me back. What's holding me back from even taking the first baby step in the right direction? What a profound message. Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Crystal, for such a profound, much needed message. So we are still in North Carolina, where we have Minister Claudia Elliott. Minister Claudia Elliott is the founder and the executive director of the New Beginning Healthcare, a program for transitioning of homelessness men, women, as well as their children. They are also a licensed home care agency providing personal care services to disabled individuals. So Minister Elliott is the author of Breaking the Curse, and she's also the co-author of Soul Ties, as well as the Esther's Royal Code. And she's also an Amazon bestseller. Wow. She's also the owner of Geod. I'm gonna butcher this name. How do you say it, Minister?
Jordan's Closet.
Oh, Jordan's Closet. Okay. Jordan's Closet. Minister Elliott is also a gospel recording artist. She is married to Minister George Elliott, and they reside in North Carolina with their children. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Minister Claudia Elliott.
Thank you very much. I have enjoyed the other ladies as well, and so happy to be here. I wanted to speak a little bit about from victim to victory. I tell this almost everywhere I go, and it has got me where I am today. So once I stopped from considering myself a victim, I became victorious. As long as I considered myself a victim, there were repeated cycles of abusive men, failed careers. I would get out of one bad relationship and go back to another bad relationship. I had already survived so much, broken bones, with just so much abuse. But as long as I kept crying about it and seeing myself as a victim, you know what it does? It happens again. I meet so many women now with the work that I do. They leave one abusive man and go right into the arms of another abuser. And the reason that they do it is because they always consider themselves as a victim. And as long as I was a victim, I could not move where in the place that I should have been in. The successful business that I run today, I always had this dream, I always had this vision. I had it on paper, but it could never happen because I kept seeing myself as a victim. It was hard for me to focus on getting that book published because I was still considering myself as a victim. But once I stopped seeing myself as a victim, I became victorious in every area of my life. I took a step back and started thinking about myself and where I wanted to be. I was a single woman for a long period of time because I was still seeing myself as a victim. I was afraid, the next man would do the same thing. And then I lived alone for a while. Once I stop being a victim or victimizing myself, I was able to go into another place. So I was able to be found by the king that I have today, which was a businessman that helped me get to the place that I am today. I was able to open the houses and take those women in that were also at one time victims and help them to get their own careers and start businesses and do things that they wanted to do. But as long as I stayed in this box as a victim and saying, oh, I've been in through domestic violence, tell the same story over and over and over again, it has to get better. When is it going to change? Am I still going to be crying? I mean, I used to start telling my story and I'd be the first one to start crying because I was still a victim. It was hard. And then I said, well, I have to forgive. I had to forgive. I had to forgive these people that had wronged me. I had to forgive them and forgive myself. Forgive myself because I was allowing myself to be in that box, in this place for so many years. I was in that place for 15 years to be exact. And once I wrote my first book, Breaking the Curse, which I'm talking about the curse of repeated cycles. I had good jobs. I couldn't focus on those careers because I'm still considering myself a victim. Everywhere I went, I considered myself a victim of rejection, of, disappointments. So in order for me to live beyond those things, I had to first forgive and to move to that place of being in victory and living a victorious life. And I want to encourage everyone watching that you can too live a victorious life. You will start to win in every area of your life, every area, your career, your business will boom and blossom. Those ideas, you'll be able to completely focus and do things to not just help yourself, but help others once you take yourself out of that place of what happened on yesterday. And remember that yesterday is gone. You can live beyond those things. And it does get better. It will get better. But my chapter, my topic today is from victim to victory. And I can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. I kept on talking. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes, from being a victim to be the woman who you are today, you are now so victorious. You are living the life of your dreams. You've mentioned the budding process, which is the process to living a victorious life. And thank you so much for sharing your journey through life with us, to inspire us, to motivate us, to encourage us that yes, it can be done. You are such a living testimony. So thank you so much, Minister Claudia, for sharing your story and encouraging our audience. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, to our audience online, let me see who we have here. Our audience online, I can see Lindsay, she just joined. I can see Stella Goodwill is watching, and Karen has already shared her link. Good people, go out there and reach out to Karen. Peno is watching, Annalie is watching, and Karen, okay, that's the I study alarm that everyone should download. It's already posted on the chat. And Mariah is saying, yes, Queens, yes. And let me see, Lucille, she has just joined us from Canada. She's saying Canada blessings, Canada blessings. I believe our audience really have been motivated. They've been inspired with all these messages. So our audience online, please feel free to reach out to these amazing, amazing speakers. To be in touch with them. And if you happen to have any questions for Karen, if you happen to have any questions for Lindsay, for Coach Crystal, for Minister Claudia, please reach out to them, because you will need to be in touch with them. You need someone who will hold you accountable. If you happen to have any questions for them, please also post the questions here in the chat box, and we're gonna attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So you know what's going to happen? I am going to be the next and final speaker here. So please allow me to share my bio with you, and then I will come back and speak. Please enjoy.
I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach, it's so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainability.
I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumalelo Riel Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Riel Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective and inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Riel believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Riel Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Riel Kunene.
Thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, you've set the bar high for me. You've really set the bar high. So I was like, oh my goodness, all these amazing speakers have shared more nuggets on how to really rise to greater heights. So what else is missing? I remember Karen, she mentioned everything. She mentioned that learning is the new superpower. And Lindsay on the other side, she came back with the 3 steps that we can take to create any life that we want to live. And then Crystal, she was like, you know what, just let go, be courageous and take action to live your life. And Minister Claudia on the other side, she came with the rebooting process, which is a process to living a victorious life. So I was like, oh my goodness, do I have to change what I was gonna share today? But you know what, I actually changed my my message last night, like last minute. Last night I was like, you know what, it's high time we address the elephant in the room, which is depression. Everyone is experiencing this. How can we overcome depression? So that's the reason I was like, today, in order for us to rise to greater heights, I believe that we need to lift each other up to get to the top. So we're going to talk about overcoming depression, because everyone can suffer from any mental illness at any point in their lives. But the stigma of the belief that you can improve your situation, it can be very harmful. The stigma and misunderstanding of mental illness in our societies, it can discourage individuals to seek help and receive treatment. So good people, don't let any stigma create self-doubt and shame, but you'll have to find purpose and meaning in your life. You really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. So coming back to the tributes that have been pouring in the past few weeks, in the past few days, for many who might know him, Stefan Tui Boys, who's been a long time DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show, who died in suicide. So I was like, you know what, I'm switching this. We'll have to talk about how can we prevent suicide? How can we overcome depression? This young man, he was only 40 years old, and you know what, he appeared to be overall happy. So his death, it brought more awareness towards men's mental health, more especially during these holiday seasons. For many, this holiday season, it can be a time of comfort, warmth, and being surrounded by family. But many others, it can mean loneliness or even mental health struggles. So in order for us to help cope, it's very important to surround ourselves with others. Don't try to isolate yourself. Try to connect to as many people as you can. If you don't have a family, if you don't have a family, try to reach out to friends or even neighbors. just letting them know that, you know what, I'm feeling alone. I am so lonely. Can you just hang out with me instead of being just by yourself? So it's a wake-up call, good people. It's a wake-up call that we all overcome depression. We all speak up against the stigma around mental health. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and overcome depression? Speak up against mental health. Speak up against any of those stigmas related to mental illnesses, because I believe that we all rise together. You know, when we talk of depression is a mixture of multiple things. And for every individual, it is different. It's sad because many have what we call it like, they have the ideal life. They are living the lives that they've always wanted. But it feels like, you know, at some times in life, they feel like they don't deserve it, or it's not even enough on what they have. That's how when depression creeps in, they have days where they feel like life just sucks and there is no other way out. The thing is, they know exactly that their loved ones, their family members, they love them. But you know, depression is just like that. It just sneaks in its way and it messes with your mind, because it's all about the mindset. It just messes with your mind. And a lot of times people are struggling from the inside and they don't want to tell anyone, because there's still such a stigma with having any type of mental health disorder, especially depression. Stigma, it doesn't come from others. Sometimes, you know, you may mistakenly believe that your condition is just a sign of weakness. I remember Michelle Obama once said, it is time to tell everyone who's dealing with any mental health illness that they are not alone, and that getting support and treatment isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. So I believe that all of us in the mental health community, we need to raise our voices against stigma associated with mental illness, which in turn it can help reduce self-stigma someone with a mental illness that they may feel, because new developments are being made in mental health treatment. And I think that stigma training, really, it needs to be an ongoing instead of like a one-time thing. And it also needs to address all of the stigmas all at once instead of just focusing on one stigma. So depression, good people, depression, kings and queens, it's a silent battle. And that the only individual is the one who is experiencing it. No one else will ever fully know the battle that you are facing each and every day in your head. Depression is a hard battle, and you often feel like you are so alone. So it's so key. It's so crucial that you have a good support system around you. You know, someone that you can always call, someone that you can always like lean on. If you need a shoulder to lean on, that's the person. You know, I wouldn't have been so lucky with my support system, but at some point in life, yes, I still have my own bad days where I feel like I don't want to talk, I don't want to do this, I don't want to even come out of bed, I don't want to do the dishes. We all experience that. So just remember that depression is more than just feeling sadness. So tying back to the title, some of the happiest people can have so many secrets. Some people with depression may try to hide the signs from us, from their loved ones, and others might not even realize that they have depression. Although well-known symptoms such as sadness or hopelessness, it can be easy to recognize. Others may be less obvious. And if you feel like you are experiencing depression, please try to talk to someone. Try to talk to someone. I know here in Canada, we have a toll-free number that you can always dial, which is the Talk Suicide Canada. You can call that number. In the US, I believe they have the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline that you can always call. All around the world, if you don't have that helpline, just call your local emergency number, because suicide is a permanent solution for just a temporal problem. So please, good people, talk to someone. It breaks my heart that we're gonna continue to lose our loved ones without even knowing that they are going through struggles. So please write this down. Maintain a solid mental health. Maintain a solid mental health. You know, every day in every possible way, we need to stand up to stigma. More importantly, understanding mental illness paves the way to evidence-based therapies and treatment options, because you decided to speak up, and then you will get the treatment that you need. So often we think of the warning signs being the traditional like, okay, if someone is experiencing depression, they might end up like isolating themselves. They might not showing up at work, but the converse can also be true. How about someone like Twitch, the one that we are talking about today, who appeared more active with a sudden burst of energy? Like I was watching their last video that they recorded with his wife. He was so happy, maybe even dancing. Perhaps they've made that decision and that choice, and it brings them a sense of relief. They never isolated themselves. They never gave up on their careers, but they took their lives. They took their lives. So it's completely irrational behavior, and trying to rational this sense in order for us to rational sense of it can give like excess utility, and it just goes to show people that we are no. It just goes out there to show that people can wear masks around depression, and they appear to be normal to us, but deep down in their hearts, they're suffering. Individuals with depression, they are such masters in illusions. They are able to smile and carry on with the conversation as if life is normal, life is happy, when in reality they are in the lowest possible spot. They feel like they are burden to everyone they come across, and what they are doing, it means nothing to the world, or maybe it's not even good enough. And it's hard for them to open up about their depression, really. So what can we do? What can we do as a community to help our loved ones to overcome depression? So I just did my research. I went online on what we can really do, and with the knowledge, and trust me, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, but I was like, you know what, it's high time we share, because I believe that knowledge is power. So if you have a loved one, if you have a friend, if you have a co-worker who appears to have the signs of the hidden depression, try to talk to them. Try to talk to them about their symptoms and offer non-judgmental support and advice. Supportive actions, it can include encouraging that person to seek treatment, offering to accompany them wherever they have appointments, planning enjoyable activities together with them, exercising together, encouraging them to socialize with others, because we'll have to, at the end of the day, we'll have to know the facts, and we also have to educate ourselves in order for us to be able to spot that individual in our circle, in our workplaces, that individual who might be going through depression. Whether you're struggling emotionally or you know someone who is, educate yourself about mental illnesses, including substance use disorders, because knowledge is one of the best ways to combat stigma. So take every opportunity to get educated or share your personal struggles with mental illness. Focus on the positive. That means owning your life and refuse allowing others to dictate how you view yourself. If you feel like, yes, I might be going through this, I know myself, I've been there. If you feel like you're just going through this, seek help. Mental illness is only part of anyone's bigger picture. So fight stigma by choosing to live an empowered life. As flight attendants always say, that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So put on that oxygen mask first to yourself, because before you go out there and try to save the world, because the reality is your journey to be a better person starts with you, no one else, not your neighbor, not your friends, not your loved one. It starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. It will make you understand that you have everything around you. You have the support that you need. So don't give up on your heart's desires. Don't give up on your heart's desires. So just recall this in case you can't find a way through. You can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. Can you say this after me? I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. You know what? Let's say it one more time. I just want you to affirm this with me by placing your left hand on your chest and raising your right hand. Say, I can have the drive within me. Say this like you have faith in your own powerful voice. And guess what? It will echo throughout the universe. I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. I can have the drive within me to get what I really want in life. Yes, you can have the drive with you. Just give yourself a random applause because you can have it. You can have it within you to get where you want, to become what you really want, and to achieve what you've put your mindset on. You can have it. You can have it, good people. You can have it. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name. But Nompumelelo, in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Maybe, let me say, in the next 6 months. I know myself, I am one of those people. So I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a coach or as a mentor, like many of us here, my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired actions to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I so wish that you can tell yourself that, you know what, I've had enough. All these amazing speakers have shared more nuggets on how you'll have to rise to greater heights. So in order for you to go out there and make a difference in your life, in order for you, excuse me, I'm just gonna drink. In order for you to go out there and be the change that you want to see in this world, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. So I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to make a difference in this world, in order for us to rise to greater heights, and we rise together by lifting each other up. We don't rise by stepping on another person, or we don't rise by tearing anyone down, but we lift those individuals up. You know, it's so funny, when I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me, and it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're watching and listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes. Since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down. Write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future, but here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Oh, come on, somebody. I believe that with God, we are all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this world is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents, all the, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these amazing messages, it gave me sleepless nights. And I remember very well when I started journaling my first book, Rise to Greater Heights, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And I didn't stop there. If you remember it very well, in May 25th, 2020, George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This 46-year-old Black man was arrested and killed after a convenience store employee called 911 on Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. So I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So no one should ever be subject to such unjustified violence, because you know what, I believe that we are all, not half of us, we are all equal in dignity. So Coach Crystal, she was like, what's holding you back from going confident in the direction of your dreams? That's the question I'm asking you. Is it fear? Is it procrastination? Is it distraction? Is it what's holding you back from taking those baby steps in the right direction? Because at the end of the day, you'll have to cultivate your mindset for success. Cultivate your mindset for success, because I believe that if you aspire to be in a leadership role, there is an emotional element that you'll have to be aware, which is the ability to both recognize and deal with your own emotions before you go out there and lead those individuals around you. So you'll have to increase your emotional intelligence as a person. And I believe that you can always bounce back to life, whatsoever challenges, whatsoever obstacles that you might be facing in life, you can always bounce back because of your resilience to greatness. So I believe all these books have the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. So trust me, with this free transformation guide, you'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, emotional intelligence, mental health, and many, many more topics, including successful parenting, as well as spiritual growth. Because growing up, really, I didn't have much in life, because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God that I missed that flight, because I'm still here, I'm still sharing my message, because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, mom. So I think also ever say that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. So at this moment, please feel free to share with the audience your final thoughts on this topic, as well as how they can reach out to you, your upcoming events, your books. Please feel free to share with the audience. You can go ahead, Karen, and share with the audience, please.
Wow, what a impactful, incredible hour to spend with you wonderful ladies. So thank you so much. Final thoughts. Yeah, I think I go back to my billboard. Everything is hard before it is easy, and the struggle does make us strong. And just to be authentic, to be you, to be a learner, because that is such an important thing for us in this 21st century, because things are changing so fast, and being able to keep up and be excited about the learning and the growth is important. So stay well and keep learning.
Keep planning, good people. Thank you, Karen. You can go ahead, Lindsay, and share with the audience, please.
I just want to say, I think it's so amazing, as always, how God has a plan. It seems like all of our topics today were so aligned, and I'm just so grateful for the people who this message finds, to know that I know they came to this today because they have a dream in their heart, because they're calling for something more, because they're feeling defeated. And I'm just so grateful and blessed to know that today they have hope and they have a way forward, and all of us have shared such a beautiful, powerful message to show them the light and the direction to pass, to go down. So golly, I'm truly filled with joy to be here. Thank you. um my last thoughts are just to remember that there's always a possibility. I think that's probably the one thing in the Bible that guided me the most was, um, when you shall ask and so you shall receive. And with God, anything is possible. And there have been many times in my life too where I felt defeated, I felt hopeless. But that one thought that there is a way, God knows. I don't have to know today everything. That way is already established. I just have to show up for it. So thank you for allowing me to show up today. Thank you, listeners, for showing up for yourselves. And I pray this message changes your life dramatically. You can connect with me on Instagram as well, at the Passive Income Examiner. I'd love to, invite you to connect with me, share your story, share how this podcast transformed your life in any way, shape, or form. And thanks again for having me.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, all things are possible through Christ. All things, not some, not something. You can go ahead, Coach Crystal, and share with the audience, please.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I have been blessed by all of the messages, and also just amazed how they aligned, like Lindsay was saying. Going back to my billboard, you're stronger than you think and capable of so much more than you imagine. Eyes have not seen nor ears heard all the things that are in store for you, right? And that's why I say joyfully anticipate. Even if you don't know what it is, just get excited that it's coming. You can connect with me on Instagram. I will put my thing, I'll change my name to that, but it's at Simply Uncomplicated. And I look forward, I joyfully anticipate hearing from you and learning what you're joyfully anticipating as a result of hearing all of these wonderful messages. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Coach Crystal. Yes, eyes have not seen, because you know what? He's just about to do a new thing. New thing. It's a new season. Thank you so much. You can go ahead, Minister Claudia, and share with the audience, please.
All right. I started with faith, and I'll end it with faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Remember, all you need is just a little bit of faith in yourself. Believe, and anything is possible. Anything is possible. You can live a victorious life. Also, remember to forgive. Forgive. Stop looking at yourself as a victim and become victorious in every area of your life.
Wow. Yes. I believe that faith, faith expects from God what is beyond all expectations. So yes, it's possible. It's possible. Thank you so much, Minister Claudia, and thank you so much to all of our amazing speakers today here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, for availing yourselves, for pouring all of your hearts into our audience here. I believe from all the amazing messages that you've shared, each and every individual who attended this podcast and who's going to watch the replay, their lives really will be transformed by all of your messages. So thank you so much, amazing speakers. And to our audience online, thank you so much for joining us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do